Grant and happy would be the master that could make all of their students larger than he is himself. I am a mathematician by heart. My exact research is something in the area of mathematical logic, model theory. Besides the work, passionate for kitesurfing, and I've dubbed a lot in music in my youth. So originally, and I can't believe that this is actually going to appear somewhere online, I'm from a tiny village called Mühlstedt. It has one street. It has 120 people living there, more or less. And very early on, I just doubled a bit in music. I learned the recorder, very beloved instrument by so many, especially by your siblings that have to listen to you practicing. And this was going quite well. So I was doing a lot with the music. I had a lot of concerts. And because of the village, because it was so remote, it was difficult to get to classes and to arrange all these schedules. So the idea came up that I would apply to music boarding school. And I noticed I really like it. And it talks to me. I connect to it. I can actually do something out of it. It's rather than just playing the written notes. You can give it character. You can give it life. You can experiment. This is killing me as the smile's running out from his face. I'm sure that I could be a movie star if I could get out of this place. My transition from music to math as a career choice, I think happened by getting to know what math actually is. Because there's this huge misconception of what mathematics is by what we learn from school, where it's more computational based. I always loved it. Even in school, actually there were topics that our teacher wouldn't cover. So I was a bit complaining. I said, hey, we should learn this, that's important. And he says, if you want to learn this, then you teach it. And I was like, in high school, I took over 1 or 2 classes and taught as a student my peers, because I felt this is something we just need to know. Beginning of university, I was aiming to become a music teacher with math as a side subject. And then when I did the math there, I fell totally in love. There was this one moment, I think my forming moment as a mathematician is when there was a mistake in a homework. So in the homework, they asked us to prove something, and I just couldn't. And it was eating me up, why can I not do this? And then the instructor was like, I actually think the homework is wrong. So on there, this is when the research for the first time came in. Okay, so it's wrong. So this means there is an example where this statement is actually false, but it seems so true. So how can we build this? And then with a friend, we were spending nights, and we had these board markers. We were in in Berlin, they have the subway. We were on the windows with the board marker and the wiper, thinking and discussing and trying to create something. And this whole creation process of you can give your own names. Oh, let's call it this. Created something called the Rosenmüller ring, whatever. It's so much fun just trying to develop. And we wrote a little exposition about this and then showed it to the instructor and say, hey, yeah, it is actually wrong because we managed to create a counterexample, which is very abstract. This feeling of achievement, of really getting through the whole ideas behind, that's I want more of that. Any mathematical truth that you discover has, in my view, already been there. So it's you just carve it out of the stone block, and it's going to be true forever because there is an intrinsic reason to it. And this feeling of creating a part of the puzzle pieces, what makes this world go as it is, it's such a satisfactory feeling. Why I came to AUC, I have to say it's a big shout out to one of my dear research colleagues from a long time back, Dr. Daoud, is another professor here in the math department. So I thought, okay, let's go to Egypt, let's do some research, let's visit your colleague here in Egypt. And I came for a month, and it was great. The whole environment was very stimulating. This beautiful environment that we hear, the campus, it's green, it's calm, it is sunny. It got my creativity flowing, and I proved a new result. Generally, mathematical logic is already a small research area. And then model theory, even smaller. Surprisingly, the faculty of the full-time faculty at AUC consists almost exclusively of in the math department. With the math and actuarial science is bigger, but the math department consists almost exclusively of logicians. So I guess it depends, itself a bit, and we have the same way of thinking. We're inspired by the same kind of beauty, and of course, this is then how you appreciate your colleagues. But even more precisely, I have one specific colleague, Dr. Daoud, who does exactly what I do. So we do research together. We have common publications and we have regular research meetings. So I'm extremely lucky to be in a department where I have somebody that shares my research interest that I can actually do research with. And then AUC as such, as an institution, has supported me. For example, like I obtained some travel grants to be able to visit other fellow researchers in the United States for some research programs. And now take a G such that the dimension of the center over the drive is n+1. I think as a math degree, you can do basically anything. I think the political leaders should be mathematicians because then finally we get some logic into our system. But seriously, there's really a plethora of different careers. For example, me, I'm a mathematical logician, and half the class that I graduated with went into philosophy. They went on to do graduate studies in philosophy. Other good friends of mine went into climate science research. So they talk now about the jet stream and these kind of things. They do machine learning. There are studies which show that for computer science jobs, programming, they often preferred invite mathematicians for the job interviews than actual computer scientists, because you learned all this rational thinking and the whole development of ideas and paths. I just now had my first student, which I'm meeting on international conferences. This is such, I'm so proud. I'm super proud. And to see when you can ignite this passion in your students. I tell my students math is prosa. This means if you tell me something mathematical, write me a poem. Don't throw formulas around. Explain. Be creative. Talk in very clear, precise words, but talk. I love my students to bits. Really, I love this part of the job. It's very rewarding because much more than research, where you never know when the enlightenment comes and if it will come, and it's you're very alone, and you need to fight yourself through these hard problems, never knowing when the reward comes. With teaching, you have an immediate feedback. You see it in the face of your students. You learn how to approach a problem. What is a valid argument? How would you write a proof? I want to teach you how to think scientifically, so that afterwards you can lead a political discussion, you can learn a new mathematical topic, you can look at a piece of music. And what I taught you in linear algebras will help you in all of these areas. I want to teach you how to think. Or the field of teeny weeny objects. Yes. For me, being in Egypt is really something that fosters my research, because I feel the sun and the weather and the people around, they give you so much energy and creativity, and this is what you need to do research. So it's, for me, being here gives me the kind of inner state of peace and balance, also with the off academic life that I'm allowed to have here, that fuels the creativity. And when I meet people and they learn about me, then they feel there's a lot of contradictory things, that I have passions which normally don't go usually or habitually go together, like the mathematics, which is considered nerdy sometimes, the music, which is more on the artsy side, and the sports, like the kitesurfing, which is like more of the adventurous side. But for me, they are all the same, they combine my biggest passions, which are, first of all, it's a challenge. You really have to, it doesn't come easy. You have to work for it, which I like. Aesthetics, this is something that music, kitesurfing, and mathematics share. The beauty of it, if you actually get to a skill, and completion. There is a goal you can achieve, and you know when you're there. If I would have to name one thing, sometimes you have to choose a title for what drives me most in life, it's curiosity. I feel we only have this one life, and I want to experience as much as I can from it. So for me, I think the word driven means being on fire in a little bit. Driven means that there's something inside you that keeps you moving forward, and that kind of is just giving you a lot of fire and interest and curiosity in everything in the world. Driven means to always wanting to move forward, wanting to go on, never being in the same place. I would love to have an impact both in the academic world and in the educational world, but also just in my surroundings. So I hope to actually prove something which shifts the idea of the area. Sometimes there are these nice big results. I hope to achieve with my students to see several of them grow, to find their passions, to be happy in life because they learned about mathematics and what it means, and they found their path through our classes. I want to achieve a boogie loop in kitesurfing. I want to explore. I want to travel to new countries, explore more sports. I want to never lose the interest and the curiosity. I want to achieve until the very end, trying to find passion and joy in learning.